Thank you all for re-agreeing to suspend your disbelief for this role play. Please open up your student workbooks to page 23, and can someone please read aloud scenario number 1? Great, thank you. Can somebody please summarize what's happening in the scenario in their own words? Great, thanks. So I noticed in your summary that you had identified Terry as a girl. I just want to take a moment and make sure that everyone is on the same page, that nowhere in this scenario does it say anything about the gender of Chris or Terry. So let's just take a moment and recognize that this scenario could happen to anyone in any relationship, no matter their gender identity, right? Okay, great. So we know a little bit about Chris and Terry. We know that they've been together for 2 years, and we know that they're totally in love. But let's build these characters out a little bit more. What is it that they have in common? What is it that they like about one another? Great, thank you. How old are these characters? Great, thank you. And what is it that each of these characters want? Let's start with Chris. Awesome, thank you. What about Terry? Thank you. I really appreciate that you said that, because even though the language in the scenario says that Terry isn't sure, what we know about sexual consent is that it requires a sober and enthusiastic yes. And if Terry isn't sure, then they're not consenting to sex, right? So they both want different things. So what do they need to do? So let's go ahead and write that scenario, remembering that Chris and Terry have been together for how long? 2 years. And they're totally in love? Okay. So knowing that they've been together for 2 years and that they're totally in love, chances are that they've spent a lot of time working on their communication and that they're able to talk to one another in a respectful, assertive way, and that they wouldn't want this to be the deal breaker for their relationship, right? Okay, so let's start and come up with a couple of lines for Chris. We're gonna jump right over all of the, oh, I saw this great movie, let's go eat the pizza, art class is so fun, and let's get right into Chris asking for something from Terry, okay? What are a couple of lines, maybe about 3 lines that we can come up with that Chris might say to Terry? Great, thank you for those suggestions. Can somebody come up with a few ways that Terry might assertively respond? These are great. Can somebody please help me rephrase that last statement, can't we just keep doing what we're doing, to an I statement? Great, thanks. So what you're going to do now is turn to the person next to you, and you're going to finish role-playing out this scenario between Chris and Terry. What I want you to do is come up with a few more lines that would resolve this situation, keeping in mind that Chris and Terry have been together for 2 years and really love one another, and they want to stay in that relationship. And over the course of 2 years, they've probably learned about how to communicate effectively and assertively with one another, and they don't want this to be a deal breaker. This scenario is all about assertive communication and respecting a partner's no. So you'll resolve the scenario with Chris respecting Terry's no. Then you'll each practice Chris's lines and then Terry's lines, and then you'll switch. And then at the end, if we have time, a few of you might get to come up and role play magic for everyone. What questions do you have? Okay, great.